we are preparing Boushh helmets for the main build. I'm going to show you the build, what's involved, and how we turn these two into one helmet. Let's do this. We start with two carcasses. One of them gets built together to form the base of the helmet. Then the second one is all chopped up so that we can adorn the helmet with these extra panel parts. One thing I really like about this helmet is it's almost like a cross between prop and scale model. It's the way it's put together and the way it's been thought out. It's quite, I don't know, it just seems to be much more of a model maker's build than any of the other helmets in the Star Wars universe. And maybe that's what makes it so special. Main shell is now constructed, 2 pieces put together, all sized up. Started preparing where my holes and where my attachments are going to go, and now we've just got to attach all of this and the Ferrari bonnet, which I've not got to hand, but we'll come to that later. I've just got to attach all of this, which is all cut from 2 more shells, onto our main shell. Because there's going to be slight variations in the helmet when it goes together, I'm talking like, you know, millimeters, then the pieces that adorn the helmet all have to be cut out individually to suit that helmet. So there's a lot of fine tuning just to get everything exactly as it should be. And this is where it gets interesting when you're making the replica, because when you were making the original one, you would have been cutting this, and however you made it is correct, because obviously you're making the original piece. When we're making the replica, we've got to follow all the reference images, and we've got to look at all the different angles, and we've got to try and capture all of that. And this is the difference between building this helmet originally for screen and now building the helmet as a replica, and trying to get that, the essence and the techniques that they used to put it together, which would have been quick, and yet we've also got to balance that with making sure all our angles match the original angles, whether they were off a little bit, or just to get it to look absolutely spot on. You need to follow the reference images, which they wouldn't have been doing. They would have just been building this helmet as they saw fit. So that is the base helmet built and pretty much ready for paint. Still need the Ferrari bonnet to stick on there, probably go over it once more just to have a little check, make sure I'm happy with everything. But in a nutshell, that's building the helmet from the back form pieces and crafting it into the helmet that we recognise. Made the same way as the original helmet, from back form parts, not just taken out of a mould and fiberglassed or slush cast. this is how the helmet is built, and this is how the replica is built. So as you can see, there's a few hours goes into crafting each one before we even get to the stage of paint, and that's where the team come in, because I've got somebody who's going to be putting the two halves together for us, Shawnee. He's going to build the helmets up. I'm going to put all the attachments on, and that's going to keep us in front of Becca, who's painting the helmets. I can mention that next time we're going to be talking RF stalk and all the components that go into that. But we'll save that for next time, because we've got moulds and things to make, and some little refinements with the aluminium parts. But yeah, I think that's it. There's definitely enough to keep me busy for the next few weeks. Getting a bunch of these helmets prepped up and ready for paint. That's it. That's all I've got for this week. The Boushh helmet. That's the build. Thought we'd share that with you so you can see what's involved. And there is a few hours. There is a few hours in this. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of time that we can save from experience. It is all a case of sanding, readjustment, placement, sanding, readjustment, placement, until this. Past couple of weeks, Becca has produced a second paint master. We have introduced all the tubes now as well, and I'm very, very happy with this. You're probably not even going to be able to see any difference between the two, but I can. We know what the differences are, and the reason this isn't in primer is because we're not putting primer on them, because we don't think ILM put primer on them. We've remastered the paint, we've worked out a couple of little issues that we discovered from the first helmet. These are going to be tiny things that you're probably not even going to see, but we know that they're there. Thanks to Guy at ArchiveX for some input and for allowing me to bounce some ideas off him. I'm looking forward to Guy coming in, speaking to us in the next few weeks, so look out for that on the old podcast. Yeah, and that's it. Let's see where we are in the next few weeks, and there will be more updates as we progress on the Boushh helmet project.